So let's talk about Toyota's Remote Connect subscription service. That was a kind of a shocking news. People suddenly found out they couldn't use the Toyota's Remote Connect. I think last few weeks ago, and it turns out it's actually a subscription service for those who purchased the cars within 3 years, and like subscription service. Actually, there's a free trial which is 3 years, and after 3 years you couldn't use that. So that's when people found out, and since that there was a lot of discussions on this. It's really crazy things. People never thought of even this kind of feature will be a subscription base. So what is Toyota's Remote Connect? Remote Connect is actually, there are two ways to achieve that. One is very straightforward, which you use key fob and you press a button 3 times, and then they will start the car when you are still away from the car. Then car will just start and kind of warm up. And when you get into the car, you can just drive directly, because sometimes you want to warm up your car engine a little bit before you really drive it. So that's the first way. Another second way is you use the app. When you use the app, there's just the button. You can just say, I want to start a car. So that's the thing. And no matter which method that you use, you will send a request to Toyota server, and they will actually judge if you have active subscription. If you don't, then it won't really start a car. So that's how it works. And so now you understand why is this could be subscription based. So even you don't use the app, you will still send a signal to your car, then your car will send a signal to Toyota. I don't know how they do that, but they do. That's interesting technology. I want to dig in more as a software engineer, as a data scientist. But that's not today's focus. Today's focus is why Toyota did this. The reason Toyota did this is unknown, and because of there's a very strong backlash. Toyota now says it actually wasn't intentional. It wasn't intentional to make this subscription based. Why they actually want the feature want to be subscription based is the app. Because I guess my assumption is this, my theory is this, because the app, when you use the app, it will just send to a server and judge if you have a subscription base. But when you use the key fob, you still send a signal to the car, and the car will send a signal to the same server and will judge if you have a subscription base. So that's basically the same thing. Then that's when it comes to why this kind of a story happens, because they use the same mechanisms for the app and for the key fob. So that's why it turns out you need to have a subscription to start your car with your key fob. So that's the thing, and that's what Toyota says. I believe then. I think they probably won't really intend to do this subscription based. Usually Toyota, this kind of very traditional company, it's not the company that will start a subscription base. It's very software thinking. It's very Silicon Valley way of thinking. What will be a subscription base? What will be the car manufacturing company to do subscription base? It's definitely more software driven, which is Tesla. And Tesla really did that. So I really don't think Toyota would do that. But that is indeed a very big mistake. In fact, when I first heard these things, I was so shocked. What the heck? Imagine in the future that everything in the car becomes subscription based. Maybe you need to subscribe to speed your car to over 100 kph, and if you want your car to have better speaker, better radio, you need to subscribe. There'll be kind of a very bad direction to go, because it's more in the future, it'll be far more expensive to drive a car. You just think of now the software apps. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, most of apps are like one-time purchase, pay and done. Now most of apps, even just the photo editing, very simple photo editing apps, or like calendar app. I don't know why calendar apps will need to be subscription based, but a lot of them, it doesn't make sense to be a subscription based app. They are now, so they make people like using software has become very expensive, which is not ideal for consumers. I'm just worried that once Toyota did this, then the other car manufacturing companies will also, do the same thing, and they will be definitely not a good thing for consumers. And I'm glad this backlash stops the Toyota to do this or continue doing this, or is actually a mistake. So I hope there won't be too many companies inspired by this one. So that's my thoughts on that. And by the way, Toyota now is considering to drop the subscription requirement. I guess they will eventually drop that, and now they probably are thinking how to make it happen technically, because it's more like a wrong technical decision, architectural decision they made, then make this kind of a accident happen. So I hope they can drop the requirement and make a key fob to everyone, not for the person who subscribes. All right, that's all for today's analysis. And if you would like to receive more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. And other than that, I'll see you next time.